Man, I don't know what the fuck is going on with a lot of these fucking knuckleheads on the internet. A lot of these bloggers, you know, these fake ass boxing pundits and shit trying to say that Andre Ward is the number one pound for pound boxer in the world. I honestly don't see that. I don't see it at all. Sure, he knocked out Chad Dawson. He knocked out Chad Dawson at 168 pounds. It wasn't like he went up to 175 and challenged Dawson there, then knocked him out. It wasn't like he went up to 175, and fought Tavares Cloud or fought Juan Pascal or fought Bernard Hopkins even. When Bernard Hopkins is what I'll get to that later. It's not like he did that. He made everyone come to him. Andre Ward, sure, he may have a larger fan base than Chad Dawson after, winning the Super Six and showing that he is, he is the legitimate guy at 168 pounds. There's no doubt about that. But he's only done that in one weight class. Hell, when he was in the amateurs, he was a light heavyweight champion. I think it was in 2003, 2004. I think it was 2004. He has five of his major titles, defenses, have been in Oakland. I can't make a case for a boxer to be the number one pound for pound when all he does is fight in his own hometown. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, Floyd Mayweather fights in Vegas. Yeah, but everyone knows that besides Madison Square Garden, all big fights happen in Vegas. You can't use that. You can't even use that as ammunition in your argument. That's like if Madison Square Garden was the Las Vegas. It is the mecca of boxing. But Miguel Cotto fights in Madison Square Garden in front of all of his Puerto Rican fans. But he does fight, and most of his bigger fights have happened in Vegas. So like I said, you can't really use that as an argument. Because everyone knows that Floyd Mayweather has talent. He is the one. He is the greatest, if not one of the greatest fighters of this era or of this generation. That's of course that's arguable. In terms of Andre Ward, he still has a lot to prove. I like to see him elite. I like to see him go up in weight or come down in weight a little bit to make big fights happen. That's a champion. A champion goes up in weights to make big fights happen. Manny Pacquiao is an example, just excluding, washing out his opponent. Not he doesn't wash out his opponents, but his promoters and Freddie Roach gives him every advantage in the book just to make big fights happen, just so he'll win the fight. Floyd Mayweather is a prime example. Going up to 154, fighting De La Hoya at his maximum weight. Did it against Cotto again, even though he almost got his ass whooped from what it looked like, but watching it again, it was obvious that Mayweather was more of a putting the hands on Cotto. But Andre Ward, he just like his hometown, he just sticks in 168 and just stays there. He's like, everyone knows that super middleweights is like, to me, it's like a filler division where guys who are too small to be light heavyweights, but they're too big to go down to 160 because either they can't put on the weight or they can't take it off. So, I think that's really a thorn in my side when it comes to Ward. I'm not taking anything away from the guy. The dude knows his shit. He has good boxing fundamentals are all there. He has his right hand is like reminiscent of like that little sneaky Bernard Hopkins right hand he throws and shit like that. He knows his shit. It's there. But as far as Chad Dawson is concerned, everyone knows he's susceptible to punishment. He just stands there. He was dropping his jab the whole time, moving, ducking right into the right hand 3 times in a row. I can't recall which round it was, but it happened like 3 or 4 times in a row. Drop his jab, bam, move again. Drop his jab, drop, bam, hit again. It was like, come on, dude. Like you can't see the repetitious pattern going on here. It was really sad to see that guy only win 1 round of a 12-round fight. That was really sad. I expected Chad Dawson to do a lot more. I didn't think he was going to sweep Andre Ward, but I thought he'd make a good case to at least go to a split decision or even a unanimous decision for Dawson to really show his boxing prowess, but it's not there at all. I don't understand what was going on. I'm not going to blame it on weight, because Chad Dawson didn't look dehydrated at all. He didn't look washed out. As big as he is, his body mass index is crazy. He took off the 7 pounds nicely. He put it on. He put it back on nicely. I didn't see what the same day weigh-ins were. I don't even know if they took him, but Dawson wasn't he didn't seem out of the ordinary. He was just outboxed clearly by Andre Ward. So all these Chad Dawson, nut huggers and people trying to who dislike Andre Ward are trying to take that win away from him. No, don't even start that. I personally am not taking the fight away from Andre Ward. I think he did everything in his power to win the fight. I just don't like the fact that a lot of people are putting him up to number one just because he beat Chad Dawson, light heavyweight champion. I think like I said earlier, I think if it was switched to where if Andre Ward went up to 175, then beat him and say, yeah, I went up in weight and took on the challenge, and won, then you could say, oh, damn, all right. Now, what else can he do? He's not really leaving the door open to anything by going up in weight or coming down or showing his versatility in different weight divisions. He has to. Andre Ward has the body for it. He's not an overly muscular dude. His muscles don't look necessarily inflated. They look like it's natural tone, natural musculature. His physique is perfect where he can drop. Hell, I believe he can even go down to 154 if he tried. That might be pushing it a little bit, but I think he can make 160, no problem. He can make 160, no problem. I just don't like how he wants people to come to him. He's not gonna be that. He's not gonna be the next Pacquiao or Mayweather. I don't see him making the $30 million, $40 million paydays fighting at 168 pounds. There's only so many fighters who are going to say, I'll fight you in your weight class. A lot of fighters are going to be like, I solidified my name in my weight division. If you want to fight me, you come to me and fight. Don't go, don't be dropping my name in conversations and talking about, oh yeah, let's fight. That's not going to fucking happen for Andre Ward. He doesn't have that pull yet. If he even has it at all. Then I read somewhere that his Team Ward was calling out Joe Calzaghe. Come on now, really? That just that's more than enough proof right there to tell you that every fight that his team is going to set up for Andre Ward, they want them to come down. They want them to come up or come down to 168. No, dude, no. Andre Ward may not know this himself, but his team is definitely smoking that shit that they think that. Great fights for Andre Ward is Tavares Cloud. You want John Pascal, Sergio Martinez, possibly Canelo, possibly, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Bernard Hopkins in a super fight. I know Bernard can make 168. He shouldn't have a fucking problem making that weight. That dude is looking for a fight, basically. He'll fight anybody at this point, especially after losing Chad Dawson. He's just aching for someone to call him out so we can get ready. Yeah, man. At this point in time, I just don't see Andre Ward as being number one, despite his despite his Super 6 championship. That was only in one weight division. You can say, oh, he decimated everyone in his division. True. I believe if he fought Froch again, he would KO or at least TKO Froch. Lucien Bute, no. That dude would get fucking bounced out of the ring faster than fucking Chad Dawson did, And I think Lucien Bute would probably leave the ring. It was the same thing with Lucien Bute always fighting in Montreal, his title fights. Come down to Vegas. Same thing with a lot of guys, a lot of boxing. The only problem with that is a lot of boxing reviewers are all kind of a little biased here. Well, they'll say like European fighters always fight in their country. They're quick to say that, but they won't say anything about Andre Ward fighting in Oakland. You know, they won't say stuff like, oh, Andre Ward, you know, go to Vegas for a big fight. You know, stop making fights in Oakland where you're in a pro Ward atmosphere. You know, go to a boxing arena to where everyone around you it's split between Ward or split between whoever your opponent is. You know, that really shows your mental awareness, your mental fortitude, and whether or not a boxer can really take that. Can Andre Ward take the boos? He can obviously absorb the cheers. It's not a problem for him. But I think a crowd, you know, a negative Andre Ward crowd might get to him. It really depends on the opponent. It really depends on the opponent. But all in all, you know, Andre Ward, you know, it was a great win, great match, great night of fights. I take nothing away from the man. You know, I can't, you know, other than my gripes, you know, but my gripes don't mean shit. It's just my opinion, you know. The dude did what he had to do. He fought his game plan, you know, and that's that. You know, I just want him to make bigger and better moves, smarter moves in the future, you know. There is other fights that exist outside of 168. I just hope he can strike while the iron is hot, you know, captures the essence of being a legitimate champion outside of 168, because he has the makeup, you know. He has the makeup of an old school boxer that everyone can come to love, you know, like a second coming of Sugar Ray Robinson or Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, or Aaron Pryor, for example, you know, stuff like that. The dude has it, you know, he has it. It's there. You know, but anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I may do more videos in the future, you know, depending on what goes on around the boxing world. But until then, I'm out. Y'all take it easy.